With the PESTEL analysis of the United States, we can say that some strategies have been implemented have caused discomfort in the community, in the same way that the government transition brought with it environmental measures such as the use of friendly energies. Economically, it is the largest economy in the world and the main producer of oil, as well as one of the most important exporters and importers. Despite this, and due to the different crises as well as measures, the price of oil has risen, which has affected American society since they cannot produce due to the high cost. In addition, the oil industry has left its mark on indigenous communities and some towns, since they have come to invade their space. But it's important to have in mind that states like Texas fundamentally depend on the production of oil, and the reduction of this will leave the community affected due to the loss of jobs. In terms of technology, the United States has managed to implement this in the search of sustainable exploitation, avoiding fracking, which environmentally means damage to water sources. In addition, this industry is a large generator of methane, a highly dangerous gas. Finally, from the government of Biden, the granting of permits to exploit have been reduced.
Hello, I'm Christopher Davis, and I'm going to talk about the PESTEL analysis for Colombia. So as far as political factors we've seen, recently the Colombian government has been making improvements to restrictions that are in place on oil companies in Colombia. These should help in time to make the overall industry safer. These safety improvements are aimed at attracting foreign investors and other changes to attract foreign investors, including the creation of 11 different assignable areas that can be assigned to various companies in the oil industry. Another thing is Colombia is one of the countries that has been affected by the collapse of crude oil recently, since more than 50% of its exports are some kind of fuel or oil, which together with the depreciation of peso could lead to the collapse of its economy. Some economic factors. The economic outlook is positive for economic gain in the Colombian industry as of recently. Crude oil is one of Colombia's largest exports, accounting for 33% of all its total exports for 2021. And the recent increase in demand for oil will continue to further this trend. Some socio-cultural factors is unfortunately in connection with environmental factors and legal factors. Oil companies in Colombia have been violating both human and labor rights. These violations have led to dangerous work environments for workers and the destruction of various indigenous communities and illegal subcontracting of workers. Violence is present in all oil regions, and it is kind of perpetrated by dynamiting the tubes that feed the oil pipeline, which is and some technological factors is there are newly replaced restrictions on the kind of equipment that people can use and oil companies can purchase and import to Colombia. They have to be approved for use before they can even be imported. So they have to have a conformity assessment certificate from a recognized accredited entity in the Colombia National Accreditation Organization. Some environmental factors is, again, unfortunately, in connection with socio-cultural and legal factors is the foreign oil companies in Colombia in particular have been violating environmental regulations. These violations have led to the destruction of the local environment and the targeting of environmentalist groups in the area of operation. The violations include issues such as water contamination, environmental destruction, and breaches of environmental licenses. And lastly is legal factors. Again, unfortunately, in connection with sociological and environmental factors, oil companies in Colombia have been violating various restrictions that negatively impact Colombia's ecological and social environment. These violations are due to a lack of government enforcement. Despite the size of the oil industry in Colombia, there are very few government entities that do enforce the regulations. So, and the ones that do enforce them typically will just let the illegal actions be carried out regardless. And thank you for your time.
To continue with the similarities between both countries, we have first that in both countries have an overall with indigenous communities being impacted by the allocation of oil reserves. Also, both in Colombia and United States have companies in the Forbes ranking of 25 largest oil and gas companies based on the production data, Ecopetrol in Colombia and Chevron in the United States. Also, and finally, the economy of both countries depends largely on the production and market of oil. And continue with the differences between both countries. So first, in contrast to Colombia, in the United States, each state has different oil extraction laws and regulations, and these rules are different for a public and private land. And also in the United States has an advantage over Colombia and investment and technology and development. So in this country, the large companies contribute to search for better ways to exploit and create the new techniques. While in Colombia, there is no advantage. So finally, our presentation in the conclusions, our recommendation for a homework firm entering the market in the country will be to pay attention to few key criteria for all companies in the area. Criteria such as competitions, laws, regulation, equipment, and instruction method. For the United States, particular, pay attention for the technological advancement and the benefits is necessary. While in Colombia, you must also pay attention to the relationship between your company and the other individual as in the business environment. In addition, it is important to take in account the international situation as the different political or economical tensions are the key factor when it comes to entering the market in both countries. And finally, this is our reference. And bye bye.